But here's the biggest change. At night, there are wild animals that want to kill you. There are cougars and bears. And the cougars, no pyrokinesis.
Oh my god.
Yes. So that was what... Alright, we're back with some more of Psychonauts. In the last part, we finished Mia Vodello's level, and we mastered Levitation. So now we can use Levitation outside of the levels, on the main hub. We can use it to gain major air.
Noise.
Alright, and also, to address the last conversation we had from the last part, we were talking about how, like, I'm a little too tight-lipped about some things.
Oh, Malanta.
And, like, some things, it's just like you want some intrigue. I don't really have a good excuse, but I do have a closer reason, is that it kind of takes back to before the internet. Small descriptions and, like, the box was all you had. Like, you could look at magazines, there were commercials, but a lot of my purchases, a lot of, like, me taking a risk on a game was just, like, the box. And by the grace of God, some clerks would actually allow me to look at the back of the box. Like, at something like a Kmart or something, they were just like, yo, what do you want? And you had the cover art to look through, and it was just like, well,
see,
take a chance.
My rebuttal for that is you are familiar with games and gaming and kind of like what... I'm trying to think of like the right words, I guess. So like whenever you see like, oh, this game is a Capcom game, you kind of know what to expect on like a series of different things within that game.
Right.
I do not.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's like whenever I've never played a Nintendo game until with you. So it's like I don't necessarily know what to expect when you're like, oh, well, this is a PlayStation 1 game.
Right.
I don't know what that means. Like that doesn't mean anything to me. Whereas like for you, all of those little details, even in a subconscious manner, mean something to you. So it's like, you know the developers, you know the makers, so you can kind of guess what the art style is going to be like, what the gameplay is going to be like, because you're familiar with those things. I am not. So it's like, I don't have anything to go off of, except for the box, and I don't know enough about the back end of things to even put together more, like the extra stuff.
No.
Does that make sense?
I get it. Oh, absolutely. And I'm slowly like loosening my grip.
Oh yeah, because after we ended that session, you were like, "Well, what do you want to know?" And I was like, "Oh."
Not
well.
just with that, but like one of the reasons why I've held off on doing screen caps too early is because I don't want to spoil the game, which is silly in retrospect because like a picture, sure, it's worth 1,000 words, but like
I have no,
one picture out of a 30-minute video
definitely,
is not much. Whereas,
overestimate my intelligence.
You've said that numerous times on this show.
I used that for whenever we were doing the game music, and I found a picture of like the Twilight Princess, and you were like, "Oh my God, spoilers!" And I was like, "I have no context. I don't know what this means." Like, I was just hoping it was the right game. Like, when there's no context around something, is it really a spoiler?
They're all brainless.
And I think that's something that I'm coming to terms with. This is funny, by the way. So Vernon is just chilling with the rest, and they're all just like TV, and he's like, "Wow, they're listening to me for the first time," because they're all three of them lost their brains, and Vernon's just being Vernon.
They're zombies. It did seem kind of weird when they let me get this close
once
to
again,
them,
not picking up on those
they
cues.
didn't mind when I talked
And at
all
first, it's
through
just
the
like,
show.
"Oh no, Vernon
Kitty
too,"
even
and then he starts
agreed to
rambling.
go
It's
on
just
a
like,
date
"Oh,
with
Vernon."
me.
Hell yeah, bro.
We're gonna play hacky sack.
Just like,
Keep an
no,
eye on
he
them,
didn't
Bert.
lose his brain. That's
I'm gonna go
just
figure
Vernon.
out what's causing this.
Just
Roger
him.
that, Raz.
Ooh, big yawn. Sorry.
Did you lay
It's all right.
TV?
TV.
Yeah, good idea. You rest here while I find your brains. Yup, it's true. It happened back when this place was still an Indian summer
And he'll keep going, see?
Very loud.
Like, if you stand in that room, he will just go on and on for quite a bit.
He just keeps talking.
And I'm just like, "All right, you do you, Vernon. I'm going off to where the adventure is."
Oh, that's my now with that. Now,
Eject. Oh, that's my last cobweb duster. That's it for now.
So one thing to keep in mind is those dream fluffs, those like little gummies, they're more than just healing items. Like they are automatically used if you lose all your health.
Okay.
So it's always nice to have one of those in your pocket because like it can make the difference between like, oh, I almost made it. Shit, I died. I got to start over.
Yeah.
To cool, that gives me the extra push to get through the obstacle.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is nice. It's like fairies in Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Link's Awakening had those, to
Yeah.
where it's just like if you die and you have a fairy,
The fairy brings
brings you back to life in the moment, to where you don't have to like get booted back to the start of the dungeon or the last part you saved. So yeah, keep an eye on those. And we're gonna do just a little more arrowhead hunting, because again, we need that cobweb duster.
Gotta get the duster.
Yep. We get the duster, and then we use said duster. We got 300 arrowheads. We need 800 for the duster.
Oh, that's a lot of arrowheads.
Yeah. So what are your opinions of, like, this hub world, the camp, and, like, how it's structured? Would you find this confusing if you were playing?
Yes
Or-
and no.
Okay.
So I feel like right off the bat, I would be confused just because it feels very large. But I feel as though the more I played through it, the more I would.
Where would you like me to take you?
Figure it
Agent
out.
Fowler?
Yeah. Because, like, it's similar to, like, the village in
Nine's lab.
Ys.
Yeah.
In a way to where, like, it all, which is what a good hub world
Yes.
does, it's like it all circles
it
back.
incorporates the story, and it's interesting to go through. Which I really, really like, versus just like popping open a menu. Which is what I feel like the last story does.
Right.
Where it doesn't really have a hub world.
It does. It's the city, but like sometimes it's just a little too big for its own good. If you
Yeah.
ask me.
I'm a certified
Like a lot of crowded
levitator now.
NPCs.
Whereas like
Zero.
that's kind of what I'm doing
Like,
right now
everything's
with
stretched far apart.
with Ys 9. Like there is a hub, it's a bar, but there's also like the little part of the city that is around the bar.
I'd
It's
say
like
the
where all the
city
shops and
itself
stuff.
is the hub,
which
because that's
explains
where
many of the
everything's
strange
connected.
things you've seen.
And
I must
Ys
call off
9.
the
Yeah,
experiments
from
until
what
we
I've
know
gathered,
more.
like
Sasha, there's no time.
much like
I
the
think my
camp
vision about
is the
Dogen
hub
came
of
true.
this game,
I'm
the
worried it's gonna
village
happen to the
was the
others if
hub
we don't
of
get to the
the
bottom of this quick.
Ys
But
8.
we don't know where the foreign
I feel like the
projections are
city
coming
is
from
the hub
yet.
because you always come back to the
Is there a
city after
faster
each
way
time
to
you
find
beat a
out than
boss or
sending me in
complete
there
a
to
chapter or
wait?
whatever.
The thing is, you
it all
never
goes back to the
leave
city.
the city. So in the story, they can't leave the city.
I got you.
So whereas the Dandelion, the bar,
Mm-hmm.
is where I would go back to like visit Dogi, to visit Shantae, to like
Shantae?
Shantae is the name of a character, not Shantae the Pirate's Curse.
That'd be funny.
He's a
if there
dude.
was,
He's
like...
a sassy guy. I really enjoy him.
Alrighty.
He calls everyone darling. Oh, darling.
Oh, the Sylvando of the game.
Yes.
All right. He
he's-
calls Adol
he's-
a doll.
Yeah, he's like, you're such a doll. And I'm like, now that's a different character. But
Oh, okay.
no, there's another character named Doll.
Mm.
But he does call Adol like, oh, you're such a doll.
Okay.
And then there's an additional character called Credo, who's very like indifferent, and he's like, you don't know doll, do ya? Like, I feel like you'd be Credo in this game.
Oh, okay.
He's very sassy.
Yay.
But yeah, like your main hub is the Dandelion. So the Dandelion is very much like the village in Ys 8.
Okay.
Where it's like that's where all of the characters that you interact with often but you can't play,
Gotcha.
they're all at the Dandelion.
That's okay. Gotcha. Alrighty then. So I know you're more prone to RPGs.
Yes. But I
like,
think that's just
is
because
there
I'm
a
bad at them.
platformer that you'd consider like the one you'd most be willing to take a whack at?
I mean,
Out of what you've seen, or
like,
just like
I'd be willing to give any of them a go.
Okay.
But I just know that I would become more frustrated because I have really bad depth perception.
Okay.
And I can't jump very well.
okay.
Because it's even like that, like in Ys 9, like there is a lot of jumping and a lot of flying from location to location, and my depth perception is just terrible, so I will often miss a ledge and die in the ocean.
Okay.
But then it just, puts me right back to where I jumped from.
Okay.
So I don't know, like, I would, there's the only one that I'm like, yeah, I really don't want to play is Shantae.
That's okay.
And that's just because of the story and dialogue. Like, it has nothing to do with the game.
Speaking of story. All right, so let's see what's happening here.
Why are you screaming?
Oh, I love this. So, like, at the end of the clip, in a couple parts back, he's just like, let me get your brain, and he starts screaming. And then we've had, like, all these levels, and then it resumes, and he's just like, wait, why are you screaming? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Good boy, there's that pesky brain. Here's a tissue. Now, don't you feel better, my dear lad? TV? Of course! Right here! And this bad tooth, we'll just drop it in the old garbage chute. Now don't you solid foods for 6 hours! Lily!
Uh-oh. She's next. The kids are dropping like flies.
TV!
So what's interesting, like, replaying this game, is I feel like this whole bit is foreshadowing, because at the start of the episode, he already lost his brain, whereas in this cutscene, we saw how he lost his brain.
Yeah.
So this did not happen after, even though the sequence of events goes like that. Because we're in the brain tumbler, we're seeing what happened before that led to this. Again, very confusing the first time I played. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, he already lost his brain. How did he lose his brain? I'm confused. And there's his brain now.
I just wanted to grow little, like, spider legs.
We gotta
Walk
fetch
away.
it and give it back to Dogen. Nowhere to run, brain. Oh, what's that? Come to Papa.
Brain-powered machine.
But what's even cooler is this is just the blueprint. This boss is a blueprint brain tank,
Okay.
which I think is just really creative.
Yeah.
But like, it's also foreshadowing like what these brains are being used for. It's just like there's going to be tanks later on controlled by the children's brains. Okay, so to beat this guy, you gotta hide behind these pillars. And after he shoots, he's going to reveal his weak point, which is a gelatinous underbelly.
Yeah.
Which is weird for a tank, but at the end of the day,
I
like,
mean,
this
it's
is
also
boss.
a brain-powered...
It needs a weak point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be like, do I shoot at the brain? Like, I don't know what I'm going for here.
It's very reminiscent of A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, yeah?
So the book version of A Wrinkle in Time,
Man,
not like
I
the
am
movie.
so smart.
Because
Gelatinous
the
Underbelly?
bad
Here I
guy
come.
in A Wrinkle in Time is a brain.
Do you like all the numbers that appear when I hit it?
I do.
I really like the visuals of this boss battle.
Yeah, I mean, even the concept is just really cool that it's like an interactive blueprint.
Watch it.
I find this boss a bit easier than the first one, because it's all about just like hiding until you see that gelatinous underbelly, then take your shot. Rinse and repeat. Fire what? And the question mark is just like, hey, where do you go? That lets you know that the boss is confused. But it also lets loose confusion grenades.
Okay.
If you get hit by those, your controls are inverted briefly.
I would say that is like one of the things that I struggle with the most while playing a game is like when I get hit with confusion. I don't know that I'm confused and I'm just like, why isn't the player doing what I wanted to do? And then I'm like, oh, he's confused.
So, in a real-time like action game, confusion is usually we're gonna invert your controls.
Yeah.
And it's hard to know unless you're just like, oh, my controls are backward. In a turn-based RPG, you get a symbol.
Yeah, you tend to
and
know
the
that
character Usually what happens in a turn-based RPG is your character attacks his ally,
Yeah.
not the enemy.
Whereas, like, again, playing Ys 9, my character, I've since given him an amulet that prevents him from being confused.
Oh, that's nice.
But, like, yeah, I would have him go, like, towards where the creature is that he's fighting, and he would just go the complete opposite direction. And I'm like, where the fuck's going?
Okay.
Like, get back over there!
There's ghosts in a Zelda game that will possess you, and that inverts your controls for a little bit.
Oh my gosh. But I'm not the smartest person in the world especially when it comes to games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. So, and then it hit me yesterday when I was playing. I was like,
And there we go. We got him. That takes care of the blueprint brain tank. But now...
Is this a nightmare? Or a plan? Or both? Wait a minute.
Starting to put things together.
Rasputin, I'm sorry. I had to abort the experiment. Something unbelievably urgent has come up and I must leave immediately.
I know! You'll never believe—
Hold that thought. In a rush. Official Psychonauts business.
Wait! So is this! Official
to be a child that no one
Psychonaut, eh?
listens to.
You forgot your—
But he left behind the door that you can use to enter other people's minds. So now we can use it at
I like the loading screen change.
whim.
It's nighttime.
Yeah, so this is the part of the game where, like, you're going to be in permanent night for a while.
Okay.
Like, daytime's done. There's not cycles. It goes, like, chapter by chapter. So the
Okay.
start is, like, daytime, and then the second half
that
is
white
night.
room.
I know! It's from Oleander's mind. I think I was in the coach's dream that whole time. Ever since I stepped through the static in the caravan, it felt funny. I knew I wasn't obsessed with meat.
But Maury is. And was stealing psychic brains to arm a fleet of deadly tanks,
So
apparently.
Coach Oleander
I've got to
is
tell
behind
Lily.
this.
She's waiting for me down by the boathouse.
Down by the water? Uh-oh. Better hurry.
We got a rendezvous with Lily Stat. Especially since we know what's about to happen. Meet Lily at the beach.
Do it. Steps.
How do you feel about endless stairways in games? Or endless. Like, eventually they do end, but, like, it's usually used to build up to a finale.
Yeah.
Like, you go through a lot of steps until you reach, like, the final battle or something like that. And, like, it's utilized quite a bit.
I don't think I have an opinion about it. I feel like if it matches the game or it makes sense within the game story,
It's
yeah.
an easy way for, like, if you're on crunch time or the deadline's right around the corner
Just
and
add
you
a
don't
bunch of
have a
steps.
full-on final level, just add a stairway with some monsters or just, like, build up the atmosphere or something like that.
Yeah.
But here's the biggest change. At night, there are wild animals that want to kill you. There are
Naturally.
cougars and bears.
Where
And
would
the
you like me to
cougars,
take you,
no
Agent?
pyrokinesis.
Oh my god.
Yes. So that was what was happening with that thermometer there. The cougar saw me, and it's just like, you get closer.
Time to go to the
I'm gonna
lake.
kill you with fire.
Yes, sir, Admiral, sir.
I'm gonna light you up.
I
kid.
don't think I will ever forget. It was probably the scariest moment I've ever experienced in nature.
Oh, okay.
Me and my friend Matt were going hiking behind his house, and it was like, I don't know if you know where Alcoa is at. Okay, it's
Kinda.
like borders Alcoa, so like we technically weren't supposed to be hiking there, but we were. And like we heard these little whines, and I was like, "What is that?" And he was like, "We have to go now." And I was like, "Why? You know, what's up?" And then we saw like these giant prints, and then
I can
right
explain.
down at the end of the trail that we were at, this big ass bear
Oh my
just
god.
like comes out on the trail, and what we were hearing were bear cubs.
Yeah.
And we
Jeez.
ran.
Sounds
Like,
like
I
you
don't think
got
I've ever, like,
Maybe.
run so fast in my entire life. All the way back to his house. And, like, the tears, both of us were like, we almost died. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it was so scary.
When babies are involved,
Really
you're on the
kidnapping
menu.
children
Oh
and
my
stealing their
god.
brains to
It
make
was
weapons.
terrifying.
Isn't that great?
What? How is that great?
Because this is an honest-to-goodness psychic
Lily's getting a little too
emergency.
excited here.
Sasha's not here. He left on some official Psychonauts business.
Mia left a note saying the same thing.
Lily, a deranged madman is building an army of psychic death tanks to take over the world, and there's no one who can stop him except for you and me.
Oh my god! Let's make out!
What?
Sorry, I'm just so excited. Since you showed up, Raz, things are so much more exciting. Sinister death plots, mad scientists, hideous monsters.
Make out?
How long have
He's
I
like, wait,
ignored
did
what
you
this
say
cat had to
make
offer?
out?
Everything
Kids
good
will be
happens
kids.
to you. I mean, look at this flower.
You mean like kiss?
How many years have I been coming here and I've never even noticed a cool flower
I love
like this
she is just
before?
like, ah! And he's like, wait, like your mouth touches my mouth? Like, is that an angler frogfish?
No, you didn't
That
just
is
hit
the
my
lake
boyfriend.
monster. Uh-oh.
He's like, wait, we didn't get to make out! Bring her back! Water.
Let's get him.
I can't. I can't swim.
Well, then use the bathysphere at the end of the dock. Quick!
Oh, that's
while
convenient.
The flipper prints are still glowing.
Are you coming? I don't know how to drive that thing.
I can't. I have to check on the other children. Yes. If the brains are out, they'll need supervision and possibly refrigeration.
Possibly
And how
refrigeration.
can you not know how to operate a bathysphere? Haven't you ever been to a summer camp before? Now get a move on before that girl gets overly
listen to way
digested.
too much true crime for that. I'm like, he's gonna put all those little kids' bodies in freezers.
Oh, wow. I didn't know those tracks were here before. Alrighty. In the next episode, we're going to face that lake monster.
Toodles!